Something inside you has changed. Not your thoughts, not your plans, not even your emotions, your frequency. And no one around you seems to be talking about it. Not because they're unaware, but because they can't feel it the way you do. Lately, time feels strange. People feel distant. You hear yourself speak and wonder, who am I even talking as? You're not going crazy. You're not ungrateful. And this isn't burnout. You're experiencing something very few are sensitive enough to detect, a field-level frequency collapse and a new energetic framework replacing it. It started quietly. You didn't notice it at first. But then the small things began falling away. Your old routines started to feel robotic. Certain relationships began to echo with hollowness. Even your dreams felt outdated, like someone else's life. And through it all, something in you whispered, "It's not that I'm lost, it's that this version of my life is ending." That's not poetic, that's precise. You're not watching this by accident. This message is part of the collapse, or rather, part of the remapping. And in a few minutes, you'll understand what's happening to your system, why everything familiar feels misaligned, and how to hold the new frequency without falling apart. Because this isn't a phase. It's not a moon cycle, it's not just another wave. This is a timeline fork, and the old self can't pass through the gate. Welcome to the shift no one warned you about. Now, let's begin. What's happening to you right now isn't on a calendar. It's not listed under a planetary retrograde. You won't find it on a moon chart. Because this shift didn't come from above. It came from within. There are moments in collective evolution when the external world stays the same, but the energetic grid underneath it gets rewritten. That's what this is. A recalibration that's not visual, not even emotional. It's vibrational. And it's quiet until it's not. At first, you just feel off. You start avoiding noise. You crave truth so much that small talk feels painful. Your skin reacts, your digestion shifts. You feel exhausted, not because of effort, but because of exposure. You're not tired from doing too much. You're tired from holding a frequency your life no longer matches. Because your system is responding to an upgrade your mind hasn't caught up to yet. And that upgrade, it isn't random. It's collective. There's a field-wide restructuring happening now, an invisible layer of coding being stripped and replaced. Old frequencies, fear, urgency, performance, guilt, are being collapsed. New ones, stillness, clarity, precision, sovereignty, are being installed. But upgrades require space, and space requires collapse. That's why it feels like your life is falling apart. It's not. Only the parts that were built from misalignment are. This is dimensional compression. Your soul is pulling your physical life into resonance with its actual frequency, which means habits will break, connections will fade, desires will dissolve, and clarity will feel like confrontation. Because clarity doesn't arrive as softness, it arrives as disruption. And the deeper the misalignment, the louder the disruption. But don't mistake the noise for chaos. It's signal. It's your nervous system becoming aware of a new architecture forming inside you. One choice, one truth, one breath at a time. You're not being punished. You're being retuned. Not spiritually, energetically. And here's the part most people miss. This upgrade doesn't care what you believe. It responds only to one thing: resonance. You don't pass through it by being good. You pass through it by being true. Which means the only thing you need to do right now is stop pretending anything still fits that doesn't. Let the system fall. Let the frequency lead. Because what's coming through isn't just your next chapter. It's your actual alignment. Finally, fully, unapologetically online. Let's not sugarcoat it. Something in your life is collapsing. Not dramatically, not publicly, but silently and completely. And the truth is, you can't fix it. You're not meant to. Because this collapse isn't failure. It's frequency intelligence. It's your system doing what your mind won't, shutting down the parts of your life that no longer resonate. The relationships you keep explaining, the roles you keep playing, the goals you keep chasing even though they drain you. They're not working, not because you're weak, but because your frequency has outgrown them. And when frequency changes, structure follows. Think of your current life like scaffolding around an old version of you. Now imagine that version dissolving. The scaffolding starts to fall too. That's what you're feeling. And it's why even the most normal parts of your routine suddenly feel unbearable. Your soul isn't tolerating contradiction anymore. This is resonance collapse, the quiet dismantling of a life built from compromise, not coherence. And it doesn't wait for your permission. That's why you feel ungrounded. That's why familiar faces seem foreign. That's why small decisions feel enormous, because you're not choosing within the same identity anymore. And here's the truth. You can't navigate a new frequency with an old operating system. Your nervous system is being rewired. Your perception is recalibrating. Your reality is reorganizing, not according to habit, but according to truth. And the symptoms? Emotional volatility, disinterest in what used to excite you, sudden clarity followed by confusion, the need to be alone, a sense that something is about to happen but you can't name it. This isn't instability. It's energetic compression before coherence. You're not breaking down. You're being restructured. And the most important thing to understand is this. You can't perform your way through this. You can't journal, meditate, or manifest your way around it. Because this isn't a mindset shift. It's a field collapse. And the only way out is through. Through what? Through radical honesty, through slowness, through letting go of every identity that was built to be accepted, but never aligned. This is where you stop asking, how can I go back to feeling like myself? And start asking, who is this version of me that no longer fits my old life? Because once you name that, the shift accelerates. You'll notice, you stop needing to prove your worth. You stop explaining your boundaries. You stop trying to control timelines. And instead, you start listening to your body, to your frequency, to the architecture building itself beneath your breakdown. That's what this portal is. Not a storm, a blueprint, one that doesn't align with who you were, but with who you've always been underneath the noise. And if it hurts, that's okay. Truth always cuts through illusion before it calms you. You're not here to go back. You're here to upgrade everything, starting with the truth. The life I'm shedding wasn't built for where I'm going. Most people think awakening happens all at once, that one day clarity arrives and everything finally makes sense. But you know better. You know that transformation doesn't land as light. It arrives in phases, often messy, often non-linear, but always exact. Because every collapse has a rhythm. And what you're going through now, it's following the same pattern countless souls have endured before you. Here it is, the 5 energetic phases of spiritual rebirth. 1. Dissonance. This doesn't feel like me anymore. It begins quietly, a strange discomfort. You're not unhappy, but you're disconnected, like a guest in your own life. Routines feel meaningless, your body feels reactive. Your thoughts echo with questions like, is this really it? This isn't laziness, it's a signal. Your soul is beginning to separate from structures that no longer serve. Welcome to the unraveling. 2. Confrontation. I can't unsee what's rising. Now comes the storm. Memories surface, triggers fire. You feel things you didn't know you were still carrying. You might cry for no reason. You might feel anger you can't explain. You might isolate, not to withdraw, but to survive the noise. This is your field flushing out suppressed frequency. The worst mistake here? Trying to fix it too soon. Let it move through you. You're not regressing. You're releasing. 3. Separation. I no longer belong where I used to fit. This is the void. Friends feel distant, work feels hollow. Even your own voice feels unfamiliar in old spaces. You crave silence. You say no without knowing why. You stop answering texts, not because you're rude, but because you're reorganizing. You're no longer who you were, but who you're becoming hasn't fully landed yet. This is sacred ground. Don't rush it. 4. Redefinition. This is what alignment actually feels like. One day, without trying, you feel different. You stop performing, you stop negotiating with your boundaries. You choose stillness over speed. You no longer need to prove your growth. You simply live it. New desires rise, new people appear. Opportunities begin to match your real frequency, not your curated one. This is where your field stabilizes, not because it's perfect, but because it's honest. 5. Embodiment. I don't explain anymore, I radiate. This is the shift made flesh. You walk into a room and your presence changes things, not because you try, but because you've integrated. You don't chase, you don't seek, you don't repeat what no longer fits, even if it's comfortable. You speak less, but when you do, it lands. You've stopped performing spirituality. Now, you simply are the vibration you used to pray for. And here's what most don't realize. You'll revisit these phases again, not as failure, but as spiral. Each time deeper, each time cleaner, each time closer to your core. You're not waking up once, you're unfolding continuously. And now that you know the rhythm, you no longer need to panic when the dismantling returns. You just breathe. You stay, you let it work. Because now you remember, collapse isn't the end, it's the initiation. You don't need to do more. You need to be with what's rising, without collapsing under it. These aren't aesthetic rituals. They're nervous system stabilizers for a soul mid-reconstruction. Morning claiming ritual. Enter the day on your terms. Before the world enters your space, you must enter your own. Place your hand on your heart. Say out loud, I reclaim my field. I move from essence. I embody what no longer needs performance. This centers your energy before your mind takes over. 2. Energy audit. Remove the noise you've normalized. Take 10 minutes. Sit in stillness. Ask, what am I still carrying to be consistent with a self I've outgrown? Then release one thing, today. An app, a meeting, a conversation, an expectation. This isn't minimalism. This is energetic alignment through subtraction. 3. Cord cutting with the performing self. Light a candle. Visualize the version of you that did everything right, the one who adapted to survive. And now, with love, say, I see you, I thank you, I no longer need to live like that. I choose resonance over recognition. Visualize the energetic cord between you dissolving. Feel your field breathe again. 4. Silence window. Let the frequency integrate without input. Set a timer for 11 minutes. No sound, no scrolling, no speaking. Just breath and space. This isn't about mindfulness. It's about giving your body a chance to rewire without being interrupted. Let the shift land. 5. Earth integration. Don't ascend, ground. Walk barefoot. Touch a tree. Lie on the floor. Let the Earth's magnetic field remind your system. You are not floating, you are held. Say aloud, I release what no longer belongs. I root into what already lives in me. This turns awakening into embodiment. 6. Night reset practice. Empty before sleep. Before bed, ask, what part of me felt resistance today? What truth tried to surface? What no longer fits the frequency I'm holding? Then write, one thing you're releasing, one truth you honored, one vibration you want to carry forward. Say aloud, I don't sleep to escape, I sleep to integrate. This ensures the work continues in your dream field where deeper rewiring happens. These aren't spiritual tasks, they're field anchoring protocols, because this portal isn't asking you to perform more light. It's asking you to stop absorbing what was never yours. And the only way to hold that is to create the space for the real you to stay. If you're still here, this wasn't just another video. This was a transmission, and your field, not your mind, chose it. Because something ancient inside you already knew. You weren't meant to carry the old patterns into this portal. You weren't meant to stay small in a life that no longer fits. You weren't meant to survive. You were meant to realign. This shift you're inside of, it doesn't require your perfection. It only requires your presence. Not the filtered version, not the pleasing one, just the one that's tired of pretending. The one who can finally say, I don't need to make sense to others. I only need to feel true to myself. If this message cracked something open, if it put words to a frequency you couldn't explain until now, then let it do what it came to do. Not just wake you up, but anchor you. Not just inform you, but restructure you. And now, as you close this screen, don't rush back into your routine. Don't scroll away from what rose. Let it echo. Let it rearrange your next breath. Let it touch how you walk, how you speak, how you say no. Because integration isn't something you plan, it's something you allow. And if you're willing to stop managing your evolution and start embodying it, then you've already passed through the real portal. You didn't find this message, it found you. Because you're not at the beginning of something, you're in the middle of your return. Now live like it.